everyone, welcome back to the Glass Seats podcast. This is our show where two hockey aficionados discuss their perspectives on headlines surrounding the NHL, including recent stories, game highlights, league culture, and other topics trending amongst the fans. This is Viddy.
And my name is Mrinal, and this week in hockey, we're going to be talking about the NHL's hottest team, the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah, what a team.
Can I just say that it's great to talk about the Coyotes in a positive light?
I think we owe them an apology for how much we shit on them before the season started.
Hey, what we said at the start of the season is still true.
It was valid at the time.
If you haven't seen that, what we said was it's weird just analyzing this team when they're playing in a college barn with no plan to have an NHL standard arena.
Yeah.
Which is still true.
Yeah.
But the team playing in the college barn is actually pretty good.
Yeah. Surprisingly good now.
Yeah.
So it actually makes me wonder, are they selling out that arena, Mullet Arena?
I don't know.
I would hope so. It's like, what, three times smaller than...
Yeah, a third of what it should be, is what you're trying to say.
I was like, yeah, it should be selling that out at this point. I mean, if not, then...
I mean, if the Leafs are in town, then yeah, they're selling it out.
Okay, well. Yeah. If it's Arizona versus Buffalo, are they selling out?
That I don't know.
Okay, all right. Well,
but
yeah.
Because I don't think it's any cheaper.
No, I unfortunately not. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll get to all of that, but let's start by wrapping up a few storylines from our last couple shows.
Yeah, let's do it.
Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
We said last episode, signed with the Red Wings. We now have a timetable. Mm-hmm. He is practicing with the Red Wings now and is expected to make his season debut versus the San Jose Sharks this Thursday.
Of course.
Which means by the time you're listening to this podcast, he will have made his season debut if all goes to plan.
Yeah. And of course, it's against the Sharks. Nice little exhibition round.
Yeah, great for him to get a hat trick.
Yeah, great for him to, get those 20 goals that he needs to hit the get right on pace with Austin Matthews and everyone, Nikita Kucherov, all of them. Yeah.
Pedersen.
Yeah. Yeah, just rack up 20 points in one game. Why not?
Warm up those new hips.
Warm up the new hips. Yeah. Anyways,
it'd be good to see him play, but I was listening to, a couple other hockey podcasts, and they're kind of talking about how other players who have had this surgery, it hasn't really gone well.
Mm-hmm.
So
in what way?
Like they've lasted maybe 20 games.
Oh.
Like
and
Nick Backstrom.
Retired?
Yeah, like Nick Backstrom is the latest one.
Oh man, yeah.
So it might be rough, but this is again Patrick Kane.
Yeah, I mean, one, it's not a very risky contract as I mentioned last time, and two, actually, are they going to play him every game? Probably not, right? They're probably going to load manage.
I don't know
based on his recovery.
I think it'd be smart to.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think if you want prime Patrick Kane in the playoffs, I think you have to actually.
Yeah, he should be treating these games as basically PT, right?
Yeah,
and warming up and getting back into it, and then when you really need him is the playoffs.
Yeah.
And up until then, what he provides is a voice in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't need to play to do that.
I was going to say, he has really nothing left to prove. I mean,
3-time Cup champ.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he really has. Yeah, he has nothing left to prove. And at this point, I'm not saying you should put a C on him. Definitely not. Or an A on him. But, he's got that presence, he's got that. People are going to listen to him regardless. So.
Yeah. Despite what the jersey says, he is still Patrick Kane.
Yeah. This is one of those cases where almost the back of the jersey and the number is almost as important as the crest on the front. I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer already. So, yeah. When you have Patrick Kane in the room talking to you, you listen. It doesn't matter what generation you're at. So, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be good to see. And,
part of the Iser plan, as I mentioned.
Yes, the all-important Iser plan.
Yeah, I think he's up to some sneaky stuff. We were having a conversation right before this, and Detroit ? Dark horse for the Cup Finals.
I mean, the way they're playing right now.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we had them as a fringe team, and
they're in a division spot.
They're not even a wild card spot.
And the two teams in the Atlantic that we had as locks are the two in the wild card spots, Tampa and Toronto.
Yeah, which is weird. I mean, Toronto's got their whole try to score 9 goals a game strategy. Their defense and goalie needs help for sure. But
it's the allow 8, score 9 strategy.
Yeah, yeah. The +1 differential every game, hopefully.
And I don't know if you've been watching Toronto games, but it's always in overtime or shootout.
Yeah, I have noticed that. I haven't been watching all of them because they're on the East Coast, but I've noticed that most of them go to the extra frame. So
after the Sharks have stopped being absolute garbage, I think the Sharks have more regulation wins than the Maple Leafs.
That's embarrassing. That's pretty sad, actually. Yeah, that is not good. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, excited to see Patrick Kane back in the league and with the Red Wings. And again, part of the Yzer plan. You've heard it here first.
Let's wrap up another storyline. Nikita Zadorov, defenseman for the Flames. We talked about that he wanted out of Calgary. We speculated about Toronto acquiring him.
Yeah.
But instead, he goes to the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah.
Nikita Zadorov traded to the Canucks for a 2024 fifth round pick, which was originally owned by Chicago, and a 2026 third round pick. Thoughts on this trade?
I'm surprised Canucks traded to a division rival.
Granted, that Flames.
What's that?
You mean the Flames?
Yeah.
You said Canucks.
Oh, sorry. The Flames traded to the Canucks. Yes. I'm surprised that happened. Granted that, the Canucks are doing astronomically better than Calgary is this year. But
surprisingly.
Still, yeah. But still, it's just, I don't know. Isn't that something that's always just frowned upon? Just don't trade to the division rival?
Yeah, but if you're Calgary, aren't you getting a little desperate at this point?
For what?
To save this season?
Is the season not kind of shot already?
I mean, we're only, 24, 25 games in?
Yeah, but you could also say that, would you say the Sharks season is... it's only 24, 25 games?
The Sharks intended to be bad.
Okay.
The Flames did not.
But I have a hard time believing they went into the season thinking, we have a legit chance at this cup.
I think they did.
I don't think they did.
Do you not remember how Calgary ended the last season? It was all this talk about, the coach is the problem. We have a good team. Huberdeau is going to be great. Kadri is going to be great. They got a new coach. They got a new GM, and it's the same shit.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, not much has actually changed. The thing is, it's easy to pin the blame on the coach. It happened with Jay Woodcroft, as we talked about.
And Dean Edmondson most recently.
Yeah. At some point, you can't just keep blaming the coach for the elephant in the room, which is that the players are not producing.
But
I don't know.
You blame that now, right? Which is why you're trading someone like Zadorov. At the start of this season,
it was a different story.
You thought they were going to be good.
Yeah.
And now 20 games in, you realize you're not. But I don't think you can let go of... I don't think you want to punt on the whole season.
Yeah.
You might want to say, okay, we can still make a wild card spot. Right? Okay. Like, the top three in the Pacific right now are Vegas and LA, who are stellar teams.
Yeah.
And the Canucks.
Yeah.
Do you not think Calgary and to some extent Edmonton are looking at that Canucks spot saying we can take that spot from them?
I mean, Edmonton, I'm not too sure right now, but yeah, I would hope that, Calgary's definitely at least trying. These picks are not soon either. I mean, it's 2024 sure is the next this next coming summer, but it's a 5th round draft pick. I don't know.
So I was gonna say this is cheap.
Yeah, I was gonna say because you were talking about Willie Nylander and stuff like this.
Yeah, I was. We can actually get to that the Toronto conversation in a second.
Yeah.
But the Zadorov for 2 picks,
and neither of them are even a 2nd round. So
yeah, the best one is a 3rd.
Yeah,
and that's in 2 years.
Yeah, very far away.
I think the Canucks got off like bandits here.
Yeah. I was going to say, this is not that's why I was trying to understand what you meant by Calgary's desperate. I was like, they fleeced themselves. It sounds like so.
Yeah, I think they're desperate in the sense that they have other players that they need to do business with. And they just want this.
So this is a cap dump, sort of?
Or just, you know what? Fine. You want out, get out.
Okay. Got it.
They have Tanev. They have a couple other UFAs that I'm missing off the top of my head right now, but it gets rid of a distraction, right? Especially because Zadorov's trade request was so public.
I was going to say, this seems more like a drama dump than a cap dump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there was also a couple years ago, there was the whole Matt Duchene trade. Everyone thought Joe Sakic was out of his mind for just asking for so much and holding on and holding on and holding on. Ottawa eventually bit, and they pretty much finished their rebuild with that trade.
Ottawa won them the cup.
Yeah, essentially. Pretty much. And, we made fun of them for dropping down in that horrible season they had. I think it was 2017. And then they got Cale Makar and, fate worked itself out. But
and McKinnon turned into McKinnon.
Yeah, exactly. But this doesn't seem like a whole they had no they weren't being patient with it. I don't think. I feel like Calgary could have got a lot more.
I also think Joe Sakic was the exception.
What do you mean?
I don't think anyone who waits that long actually gets that big of a haul.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I don't think every GM should go out there being like, I'm going to make a trade like the Duchesne trade.
Mm-hmm.
There is some luck involved.
I do think Ottawa was kind of maybe riding a little bit high on that Duchesne trade, and maybe that's what got him to bite. And it's unfortunate the way that all ended, but I think they were just maybe a little bit emotionally invested, and I don't think the Canucks are necessarily emotionally invested to overpay for Zadorov.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think they could have gotten more for Zadorov.
Yeah.
And talking about that Toronto conversation, I was listening to the 32 Thoughts podcast by Elliot Friedman and Jeff Merrick. They mentioned Toronto was interested, but they wanted both Zadorov and Tanev.
For Nylander.
He didn't mention what the return would be.
Oh, okay.
So the return gets complicated because Nylander has a no movement clause he would have to waive to come to Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're assuming he's okay with that, which...
Why Tanev? Why do they need Tanev?
I mean, they need defensemen, period.
Right, but so they were just like, screw it, Tanev?
Yeah, because you could get 2 in 1.
Right? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Plus, Brad Treliving was the old GM of the Flames, now in Toronto. So there's some connection.
So he knows. Okay, got it. Yeah,
he knows those players.
That's right. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yep.
So I think that's where the Toronto conversation kind of died, is they did want more than just Zadorov.
Yeah, which is why I'm like, why would you? I don't know. Very, very cheap trade for Canucks.
I think they couldn't get the salary to work with Toronto. I think Toronto wanted retention.
Yeah. Well, that's always been a problem for them. I feel like, so I don't know.
So I think watch out for the Canucks.
Yeah,
they're
legit.
Zadorov is a good ad.
Yeah.
Like you had that top pair of Quinn Hughes and Philip Hronik, which has been doing spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
And now you put in Zadorov to shore up the defense even more.
Yeah,
and you already have, I believe Tyler Myers is there too.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like a great, solid defense core with some great depth to it.
Yeah. This not only seems like a rental, like when, for example, when there was a Shattenkirk's sweepstakes back in the day. And
dude, that dude has played on so many teams.
Yeah. I was like, remember when everyone wanted him and it was like a bidding war for him? And then now I think he's on the Ducks now. But
I was just watching some game highlights and he's actually not on the Ducks.
Oh, he's not?
Yeah. And I was surprised by what team he's on. Uh-huh. Can you guess what team he's on? Eastern Conference.
Eastern? No. I have no idea.
He's on Boston.
Oh, wow.
Did you even know that Shattenkirk was on Boston?
Yeah, how did he go from being one of the hottest trade commodities from St. Louis to whatever teams he's played on to now just under the radar? I thought he was on the Ducks. And he might have been on the Ducks. So
he was, I think, last year.
Yeah.
Or a few years ago. I've lost track where Shattenkirk has played. He's played with so many teams.
Yeah.
But yeah. Canucks look good.
Yeah, the Canucks look legit, and they look legit long term. Assuming that, they can lock down some of these contracts as well.
Well, the other team that's suddenly looking legit, the meat of our episode, we're going to be talking about the Coyotes.
Yep. They are a wagon for sure.
So why are the Coyotes coming up? Well, on the ice, they have now defeated the past 5 Stanley Cup champions, Vegas, Colorado, Tampa, St. Louis, and Washington. Mm-hmm. And they did it in 5 straight games.
Yeah, insane. I mean, one is crazy that their schedule worked out that way. But yeah, crazy. Like I have no reason to believe that they were good this year, and they just somehow magically are good this year.
So let me ask you this: are they good, or are teams underestimating them
because of the whole Mullet Arena and everything?
Because it's Arizona, who hasn't had success with almost anything.
I mean, how long are you going to keep under? It's we're 20 games into the season. You're going to keep underestimating them?
Well, it's a new team every night, right?
I guess, yeah. But like at some point, you put the league on notice. I feel like it's like when I'm sure Vegas was underestimated in their first season at first in the first 20 games, and then they put the league on notice. They were on their 8th goalie or whatever it was, and still beating teams.
I don't think they put the league on notice. They went all the way to the Cup final.
Yeah. So that's the league is.
I think
on
the
notice
came
right?
next year. I don't think that year they were demolishing, especially at home. They were demolishing teams.
Yeah, I mean, still, like I feel like at some point GMs and coaches are like are eventually going to circle the Arizona game. Like, hey, this is not just a walk in the park,
I think we overestimate how much they prep per game in the regular season. During the playoffs, it's a whole other game.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I think during the regular season, it's more about we play this way and we don't care who the opponent is. Which is why when you hear a lot of these interviews, the most common phrase is, "Oh, we didn't play our game tonight." They don't care who the opponent is. They just want to play their game.
Yeah.
And Arizona is not letting people do that.
Yeah. To be completely honest, I haven't watched many Arizona games this year. I've watched maybe like 2. So I'm not sure what their strategy is, if they're just being underestimated, if they're just taking advantage of that. But whatever they're doing is working. And at first I thought this was a fluke. I'm not going to lie. Sorry, Arizona fans. But they look legit this year.
I'm glad you brought up Vegas because I think there's a lot of parallels here. Why did we underestimate Vegas?
Because it was just the new team on the block, I guess. And everyone expected expansion teams to be historically bad until they saw how good the draft was.
Do you remember the storyline? Even after Vegas did their expansion draft and picked all their players, before they played a game.
No,
they were like, this team is going to be mid because there's no stars. But then we saw the power of having
depth.
4 basically second/third lines can do, right?
Yeah.
This past summer, we did our season previews and for Arizona. And because of the flat salary cap, there was a lot of teams that gave them cap dumps.
Yeah.
Arizona, I think, has 4 third-ish. There's not as good as Vegas's. But basically
they can roll lines.
They can roll lines.
Yeah.
And, we're talking about players like Alex Kerfoot, players like Matt Dumba, players like Michael Carconi, who I think is a rookie. But they're just rolling teams. Yeah. Kesselring is on Arizona. And it's just wave after wave. They're fast.
Yeah.
And you make a mistake and they pounce.
Yeah. It's no longer the Clayton Keller show. It's also...
Yeah, Logan Cooley I didn't even mention.
Yeah, Logan Cooley. Oh, yeah. 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 So it's not that they don't have star players. They have Clayton Keller, but it's the fact that they have all this extra depth with them. And, the fact that they can, as you said, roll lines.
Honestly, I'm a little mad at myself for what I said in the preview, or, even though, like I said at the beginning, was correct.
Yeah, it was legit at the time.
I feel like I didn't learn my mistake from Vegas. Yeah. I should have realized, oh no, they've got depth.
Yeah.
They will roll lines, and the power that has, especially, what do teams do when they get behind in a game? They shorten their bench. Yeah. They shorten their bench, right? Which means they're sending out star players, but tired star players.
Yeah.
And here comes Arizona, who doesn't care.
Yeah.
You want to put out, like, that Washington game. Yeah. You want to put out Tom Wilson and Ovechkin? Go ahead. Yeah. Here's the 4th line.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I mean, in a weird way, I think the pressure is so minimal on Arizona. I feel like you can define rock bottom in so many ways. They've had so many issues over the past few years, but quite literally being homeless and on the verge of relocation, I think that is rock bottom, or in moving to a college arena. I feel like that is rock bottom. I feel like they're just having fun and playing hockey, and they're just enjoying it again,
And winning's fun.
And winning is fun, yes.
When you come out and you're good early in the season, it sets a different tone.
Yeah. People are like excited, or, guys are excited to come to the rink and practice and see each other and hang out, and, that kind of happened with, like, not to keep bringing up the Sharks over and over again, but I'm pretty sure they hated hanging out, even outside of the arena, until Mike Greer kind of yelled at all of them, so...
Like, I realized that 82 games, it doesn't matter if it's game 1 or game 82, it's worth the same amount of points.
Yeah.
But starting strong and ending strong in the NHL is so important.
Yeah.
It sets the tones.
Yeah.
And having the start that Arizona's having versus the start that someone like Edmonton had, you see the difference right now.
Yeah. So basically what we can say is that Arizona went to their Tempe landfill, grabbed a giant bag of shit, and made everyone eat it.
Yep.
Yeah. And speaking of relocation, they actually might have a home soon.
Yeah, this was from NHL insider Darren Dreger, that the Coyotes are finalizing a purchase of a piece of land in Phoenix to be made into an arena, and they're expected to announce the plans next month. So this is good news. All positive vibes coming out of Arizona right now.
Yeah.
We'll see what kind of arena they announce. Where in Phoenix is it? Is it accessible?
How big is it?
How big is it?
Yeah.
All those things still matter.
Yeah.
but at least there's progress.
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea how big the Suns arena is. I don't remember the name of it, but is it comparable to that? Or is it just kind of like up in the air?
Yeah, we know nothing right now besides the fact that they are about to buy some land.
Okay.
So we'll keep an eye on
the arena's not even improved, possibly.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no plans, nothing,
So this is very,
very, very early stages. Basically when Tempe rejected their thing, it was ground zero.
Yeah.
Right? You got to start over.
Yeah. I thought they were done, honestly. I thought they were getting relocated.
Yeah. And the fact that the news we're hearing is that they're trying to buy an arena rather than hearing about what city's interested in taking them.
Houston or whatever, Salt Lake City.
If you're a Coyotes fan, that's got to be good news, right?
Yeah. This is probably the best season you've had in years, let's be honest. Besides when Taylor Hall got traded to you guys, I can't remember the last time Coyotes fans were this happy. Things are looking up for the Coyotes. And continuing on with the Coyotes train, we wanted to talk about Connor Ingram, goalie of the Coyotes. At the time was playing for Nashville, but he's had his struggles up and down, and it seems like things are turning around for him as well, personally.
Yeah, I didn't see the story get much traction, but I actually really like the story.
Yeah.
Basically, Connor Ingram credited therapy with saving his life. Mm-hmm. So he's now 26-year-old playing in Arizona. At the time, he was 23 in 2021 and was playing for the Nashville Predators.
Yeah.
He was thinking about quitting hockey just from the mental health and, not being able to play or not wanting to play.
Yeah. And it's not even... When you're in that bad mental headspace, it's also just the daily brain fog and on top of all the travel and just keeping yourself healthy. It's just, it's a lot.
I realize they're professional athletes, but you travel all across the country. You have weird schedules. You got to practice in between away from family on top of all the life things,
It's hard.
Yeah. So he was encouraged by the goalie coach in Nashville to enter the player assistance program, where he eventually went to therapy, got some help. Mm-hmm. He was eventually diagnosed with OCD, but is now playing much better, being much happier 3 years down the line, and is still in the NHL.
Yeah, and doing well. He's putting up some good numbers too. And I think the main point to write here is that, one, it is okay to ask for help, and two, given the NHL's machismo culture problem, let's call it. This is a huge win, in my opinion. This is a huge win. And
the fact that he's open to talking about it, he gave an interview about it.
Yeah.
That's great. And something I think we should see more of from professional athletes, especially in the NHL.
Yeah. And it's, I wouldn't even say just the NHL. I would say across most pro sports. Again, the whole machismo thing, it really is it's honestly kind of a cancer in the sense of getting the help you need to just live a happy life, a healthy life.
Hockey is very much grit your teeth and grind through it type of mentality, right? And seeing someone be like, no, you can't just always do that.
Yeah.
And doing what they need to do to keep playing hockey.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like they're betraying hockey or something like that by doing this, right?
Yeah.
This is what he needed to do to keep playing the sport he loves.
Yeah.
And I think he should do it.
Yeah.
That was great.
I think, I don't know if you remember the story. We may have talked about it on the podcast briefly many episodes ago, but the whole Alice Hemsky situation.
Yeah.
And he was just having kind of his mental struggles after he retired and trying to re-find that purpose. And, I'm sure, I don't know exactly if he went to therapy or what help he got, but the help he got really helped turn his life around. And, at that point, who cares about being the most manly man at that point? Just get the help you need and then be there for your family, be there for your loved ones, be there for your teammates. That's way more manly than just bottling this shit up and hiding it.
Yeah. And, just to put in perspective of he was going to leave hockey, how much that means, to make the NHL, you have to dedicate your life to this game.
Yeah. I was also reading the article that was kind of...
I'll link it in the podcast description.
Yeah, definitely read it. He's from a really small town. I believe it's Imperial, Saskatchewan, and less than 500 people. So quite literally hometown hero. And he had all this, let's call it pressure, I guess, to make it. And, but it's also a lot of support, there's a sense of pride when you come out of a small hometown like that. And, you want to play hockey. This is your career. This is your calling, let's call it. And, I'm glad he did it. I'm glad he got the help to continue that path. That would That would have been heartbreaking otherwise.
Yep, exactly. A couple other stories just to put a little bow on this episode. Yeah. Some feel good ones.
This is actually like one of our most positive episodes.
Yeah, we got all our complaining done last episode.
Yeah, we were like, screw everything, and now we're like, oh, all happy.
Yeah, you know when the NHL's not talking about shit off the ice.
Yeah,
it's not that bad.
Yeah, this is our Bob Ross episode.
Yeah, we went from TMZ to Bob Ross.
Yeah, you need balance, man.
All right, a couple to wrap it up. Victor Hedman plays his 1,000th game in the NHL, all for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Huge performance that game too. Yeah, unless you're a Stars fan. So, yeah, tough.
It was what, 8-1?
I think, 8-1. Something
8-1,
like that.
the Tampa one?
Yeah.
That was rough for the Stars, but still.
Great for Tampa. I mean, that's exactly, I hate it when there's like a special, like, commemorative ceremony or whatever, and the home team loses. It sucks. It's just, I don't know.
At the same time, if you're the away team and you see like all the ceremonies going on, you got to be sitting on the bench like, shit.
Yeah. Do we let them win?
Yeah.
Or do we really need the 2 points?
Or that they're going to come out hard, right?
Yeah, that too. But yeah, great to see that 8-1 victory, and congrats to Victor Hedman, 1,000 games.
Yeah. Got your jersey on the wall for this episode.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
The other thing that was a lot of fun to see, Tristan Jarry, goaltender for the Pittsburgh Penguins, scores a goal.
Yeah, great. And,
we all love a goalie goal.
Yeah, I had no idea. Like I wasn't watching the game live or anything, but I try to keep up with the highlights, so I was waiting to see the highlights thing on the NHL app kind of pop up. So in the meantime, I was just kind of scrolling through the thing, and I saw the last goal was T. Jarry, first goal of the season. I was like, oh, good for him. He finally got his his first one of the season, 20 games in, whatever it was. And I was like, wait a second. Is this the same T. Jarry?
Yeah. Did the big Penguins get another Jarry?
I honestly thought it was that for a second. I was like, because when the Sedin twins were there and they had
and these days everybody's name is Connor.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. And I was like, hold on a second. So I clicked on it, watched the goal, and I was like, wow, good for him. Had no idea it was the first one in Penguins history either.
Yeah, that too. 17th goalie to score a goal in the NHL history. First for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah. First one this year, right? I think.
Yeah, first one this year. And if you haven't seen the highlight, the opponent was empty net. Mm-hmm. Came to him and he flung it 200 feet down the ice and scored a goal.
Yeah, not as easy as it looks either. A lot of people were like, "Of course he scored. It was an empty net." I was like, "Okay, you do it.
You put on the glove,
the mitt, yeah,
and I won't even put the other 10 players on the ice.
Yeah, just and then go do it. Yeah. I
don't think I could do it with like a regular stick and gloves.
No.
200 feet? No, not happening.
Like those, the one where they have like the net and then just the tiny little entrance and you win a car or whatever if you like score those. Like, I can't even do that if the whole net is available. Yeah. So good for him being a goalie doing this,
Honestly, that was one of my favorite moments from the All-Star game where Mike Smith scored in that slot.
Yeah. Crazy. But yeah, congrats to Tristan Jarry. Great first goal. Hopefully, let's see if there's a second.
The second would be insane.
Yeah, let's see.
Do it on a goalie.
Yeah. Beer league style.
That's the end of this episode.
Yep.
This has been Glass Seats. We're out every week. We're on Apple, Google, Spotify. You can also find us on YouTube and Instagram. For those last two platforms, the handle is @Spud Network Podcast, where you can follow this show and you can find all of our other shows. And wherever you like to listen to us or watch us, if you can leave us a like, comment, subscribe, follow, whatever it is, helps us grow the show. Mm-hmm. We'll see you next episode.
Bye.